ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦਿਸ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਆਫ ਦ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਸ਼ੋ। ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਾਥ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਮੰਡੇ ਟੂ ਥਰਸਡੇ ਰਾਤ ਨੂੰ 10 ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 11 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਅਤੇ ਸਵੇਰੇ 6 ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 7 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ। ਸੈਟਰਡੇ ਨੂੰ 2 ਵਾਰੀ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਦੁਪਹਿਰ 2 ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 3 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਅਤੇ ਰਾਤ 8 ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 9 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ। ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਹੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਐਜੂਕੇਟ ਕਰ ਸਕੀਏ, ਇਨਸਪਾਇਰ ਕਰ ਸਕੀਏ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੰਪਾਰਡ ਹੋ ਸਕੋ। ਇਸੇ ਦੇ ਤਹਿਤ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਬੁਲਾਰੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਅਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਰੋਬਰਟ ਮਰਸਿਕ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਨੇ। ਇਹ ਕੰਸਟਰਕਸ਼ਨ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਪਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਬੈਂਟ ਆਫ ਮਾਈਂਡ ਸਪਿਰਿਚੁਅਲਿਟੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਵੀ ਹੈ। ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਿਧਾਂਤ ਜਦੋਂ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਹੋਣ ਤਾਂ ਆਟੋਮੈਟਿਕਲੀ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਿੰਸੀਪਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਗਾਈਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਨਾ ਕਿ ਸਰਕਮਸਟੈਂਸਿਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਗਾਈਡ ਕਰਨ। ਅੱਜ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਕੁਝ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗ੍ਰੈਟੀਟਿਊਡ ਦੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਸ਼ੁਕਰਾਨਾ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਰੋਬਰਟ ਮਰਸਿਕ ਦਾ। ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਰੋਬਰਟ।
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Today I would like to start off with this aspect of gratitude. What is the importance of gratitude in our life?
You know, gratitude is an amazing thing. It's helping you understand what you're grateful for. I tell people what you do every morning is you take time for yourself. Whenever we wake up, just close your eyes for 5-10 minutes and just meditate and just think about the things you're grateful for, and that gratefulness is setting yourself up for a great day.
Right.
So for me, it's important to do that every morning. 3 things. And, I say people to really get into it. Really get into what you're grateful for.
Right.
Because when you live your life in gratitude and don't live your life in expectations, you're never disappointed.
Right.
It's very important.
That's a wonderful point you have raised. Live your life in gratitude, not in expectation. Today, relationship or even our connection with God is mostly on the basis of expecting. I pray because I want something from God. So it's a transaction. Oh Lord, fulfill this desire of mine and I'll do this. I'll do something in the church or the Sikh temple or Hindu temple or whatever faith we believe in. So that transactional approach which has started in our lives, it is probably deviating us from that oneness, concept of oneness. Like you're a father of 2 children. Your children know that being the father will always fulfill their desires or whatever their needs are. Why is it over here the question comes of faith? Why is it that we claim that we are faithful people but we don't have faith in whom we believe?
You've got some great questions today. Thank you so much. I think that if you live your life in not expecting things, so you do something for somebody just to help. You pray to God to give you strength. You don't pray to God because you want something, because you did something. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
You need to do the next right thing. You need to have faith. You need to be in gratitude, because when you're in gratitude, you don't set yourself up for pain and suffering. Because the human mind is very powerful. We choose. It's funny because we control what our minds think. And you touched softly on our previous interview with depression, and depression is just a way, and it's more prevalent today than it was ever before.
Oh, yes.
Is because people are stuck in their own minds. And this world has become a lot more responsibilities, a lot more challenges, a lot more struggles, and so people keep on battling with themselves constantly.
Right.
And when you wake up with gratitude, it lets all that go. And if you know the only person that you ever have to be in this lifetime is yourself, you don't have to pretend to be anybody else. No one can do you as well as you can.
Right.
Right? So living in gratitude frees you from all those things that harm you.
Right.
So I look at my life today as I'm very grateful. And some, like I said, no one's perfect. We
Right,
discussed
of course.
that. And I know I'm not perfect, but every day I try to be better than I was before. And I try to learn, even with our interactions. You've taught me so much about spirituality, about being grateful. Your presence exudes peace.
Right.
And I pick up on that from the first time we met.
Right.
You're very peaceful and very caring and very kind human being, and you exude that. So I today live in gratitude for every single moment. I'm grateful for this moment. because I'm getting so much of it internally as well.
Wonderful. It's vice versa. Same. It's a pleasure to talk to you, and that's why it's everything has its own time. Everything happens for a reason.
It does.
So if we believe in that, so here comes the question of faith. Now today our faith is not as strong as it used to be. Let's take our parents for example. They used to be faithful people, or our elders were. They had that strength to follow that faith. Today we get distracted by, I would say, not distorted, but distracted by something which takes us away from that faith, what we ought to have in anything, whatever God we believe in or whatever we believe in. So now the question that arises is how to develop that faith, because faith is a strong thing, especially in times of when the things are not smoothly riding, then you ought to, that faith is what is going to sustain you.
It is.
So how to develop that faith? What would be your recommendation for that?
You know, how you develop your faith and your belief is obviously, as children, we were taught by our parents. You know, I was brought up Catholic.
Right.
And, went to church, been baptized, first confirmation. I've had all those Catholic ceremonies.
Right.
And I know today that God is in all of us.
Oh, yes.
And I feel His presence. And if I'm able to feel His presence, He guides me. Faith is like walking with your eyes covered and
Right.
making sure you're not bumping into anything, right?
Right.
That's what faith is. It's hope. It's faith.
Yeah.
But it takes us out of our mind and moves us to a higher location, higher destiny. It's you need to feel through my experiences. My parents taught me to do the next right thing. They were very strong people, but I've learned so much from them. Now I have my own sense of belief. Now I don't follow Catholicism as much as I did before. I know spirituality is in all of us.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I think there's one God.
Absolutely.
And that we're all part of that.
Well, actually, the purpose of religion was that to instill in you that seed of hope, of faith. I remember one story. You know, there's a story in India which is quite prevalent, which says that there was a drought in a village, and some elderly person said that there's going to be rain. So everybody was to come and start praying. Now everybody ran out of their houses and went to the field and started praying. But there was one small child who brought an umbrella with him to go and pray. And everybody started laughing at him and said, "What are you doing? Why have you brought this umbrella with you when it's a drought, you know that?" He said, "I have faith that there will be rain, whereas you are just having that, just by saying you are doing lip service, but in actuality, this is faith which is bringing me that yes, there is going to be rain and I'm going to have an umbrella and I'm not going to go wet." So that is what it is. If we have that kind of faith, then definitely we can move mountains. Let's go for a short break. We'll be back and talk a little bit more on spirituality.
Thank you, Harpreet.
ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੋਬਰਟ ਦਾ ਹੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਗ੍ਰੈਟੀਟਿਊਡ ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਸ਼ੁਕਰਾਨੇ ਦਾ ਭਾਵ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਅਹਿਮ ਹੈ। ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਉੱਠਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਸ਼ੁਕਰਾਨਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਜਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਦਿਨ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਜਿਸ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡੀ ਆਸਥਾ ਹੈਗੀ, ਪ੍ਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਤਾਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਹੈ, ਨਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਬਿਲੀਫ ਹੈ, ਜੇਕਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਸ਼ੁਕਰਾਨੇ ਦਾ ਭਾਵ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਵਾਂਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਡੈਫੀਨੇਟਲੀ ਉਹ ਦਿਨ ਵੀ ਸਾਡਾ ਚੰਗਾ ਹੀ ਨਿਕਲੇਗਾ। ਫੇਥ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਗਾਈਡ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਸੈਰੇਮਨੀਜ਼, ਰਿਚੁਅਲਸ, ਰਿਲੀਜਨ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਵੱਖਰਾ ਐਸਪੈਕਟ ਹੈ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਉਹ ਭਾਵ ਬਿਠਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਰੱਬ ਮੇਰਾ ਕਦੀ ਮਾੜਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰੇਗਾ, ਇਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਡਿਪੈਂਡ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਫੇਥ ਤੇ ਡਿਪੈਂਡ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਵਾਪਸ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸਾਰੀਆਂ 에ਅਰਲਾਈਨਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਟਿਕਟਸ ਤੇ ਬਿਹਤਰੀਨ ਕਸਟਮਰ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਲਈ ਮਸ਼ਹੂਰ ਹੈ ਸਪ੍ਰਿੰਗ ਟਰੈਵਲਸ। ਇੰਡੀਆ, ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਮੁਲਕ ਦੀਆਂ ਟਿਕਟਸ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਵਾਜਬ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਪੈਕੇਜ ਟੂਰਸ, ਕਰੂਜ਼ਸ, ਗਰੁੱਪ ਟਰੈਵਲਸ, ਹਨੀਮੂਨ ਪੈਕੇਜਸ ਲਈ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸਿਸ ਆਫਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਹੁਣ ਆਨਲਾਈਨ ਟਿਕਟਸ ਵੀ springtravels.ca ਤੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਬੁੱਕ ਕਰਵਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸਰੀ ਤੇ ਐਬਟਸਫੋਰਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਦਫ਼ਤਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਕੇ ਅਜ਼ਮਾ ਕੇ ਵੇਖੋ। ਯੂ ਵਿਲ ਫੀਲ ਦ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਸ। ਸਰੀ ਆਫਿਸ 604-501-4040, ਐਬਟਸਫੋਰਡ ਆਫਿਸ 604-556-4000। ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫਿਰ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸੈਕਿੰਡ ਵਿੱਚ। ਮੇਰਾ ਸਾਥ ਦੇਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਰੋਬਰਟ ਮਰਸਕ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਨੇ, ਤੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਸਪਿਰਿਚੁਅਲਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਆਧਾਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਮਜ਼ਬੂਤ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ। ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਪਸ ਐਂਡ ਡਾਊਨਸ ਤਾਂ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਪਰ ਫੇਥ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਫੇਥ ਕੈਨ ਮੂਵ ਮਾਊਂਟਨਸ, ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਜੇਕਰ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਸ਼ਰਧਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਡੈਫੀਨੇਟਲੀ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਕਰਵਾ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ। ਪਰ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਦੋਂ ਤਕਲੀਫਾਂ ਆਉਣ ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ, ਆਓ ਇਸ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁਝ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਰਾਬਰਟ ਨਾਲ. So Robert, thanks once again for being on the show. And before the break, we were talking about how faith can move mountains. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. It's generally said. Now, in case I'm following the path of spirituality, I am honest, I am having integrity. Is it that I will not face any problems, or I become so strong that my perspective changes and I do not just react to issues or circumstances, rather I know what to do during those times? What happens?
Well, you're going to face challenges no matter what. No matter if you do the next right thing or you do the next wrong thing, you're always going to face challenges.
Right.
But long term, if you make right decisions, they'll pay off. If you make wrong decisions, they'll also take you down a different road.
Right.
I know that for myself, I have to look at always making the next right decision.
Right.
And life is always going to put pressure on you.
Right.
It's how you're able to process that pressure and deal with it.
Right.
I always take time for myself. Even with, sometimes you have to come up with answers immediately. People want answers, and you just come up with a reactive answer.
Right.
But if you've done it enough times where you've been honest, that'll be an honest answer back to people. It's supposed to be hard. Life is challenging. There's nothing easy about it.
Right.
It just, if you're able to let yourself go and not keep yourself under the pressure.
Right.
So once you deal with something, let it go. Don't keep it. Once you keep it inside of you, it builds up.
Right.
And it builds up to a point where you then can't function normally.
Right. You see, Canada is a cultural mosaic where people from all the countries of the world, come over here, and we live here in brotherhood and sisterhood. But what we are finding out is that it's not in the true sense that mosaic is visible. We are not integrating with each other. There's a lot to learn from you, a lot to learn from me, a lot to learn from others. But I think that my thinking is only the right thinking, which creates lots of ifs and buts about different people. Right. And the way the world is evolving today, we have to be very clear that everything is changing at a fast pace. But that fastness, what we are adopting into our life, is probably diverting us from our basic stronghold of the values of whatever culture we believe in. We are trying to, kind of bring in the negatives of all the cultures, but we are forgetting our own positives. Many times this happens. So again, how to make strong that whatever you believe in or whatever your culture or your religion is teaching you, hold that as your forte, but along with that also accept the values which are good from others also.
Life is difficult, and how you deal with issues defines true character.
Right.
People, even when you do the next right thing, people will still want to ridicule you. They'll still want to talk badly about you. But if you know in your heart, and we talked about the brain and the heart, think about what you think you need to do, and let the heart make the decision of what path you take, because that feels right. So it pulls you into the right direction.
Right.
So a heart is a feeler; it pulls. Brain is a processor.
Right.
So if you use the brain to process and you let your heart guide you, it pulls you in that right direction. And the more you do the next right thing, you'll find yourself separating from the people who are doing the next wrong thing.
Right.
And it'll be uncomfortable. But when you create that distance between those people and you start attracting the people that now you are, then you build your team or your army of people that create this bigger energy, right? So you need to separate yourself. Don't let through fear, through doubt, people pressure you into making the wrong decision. And people will pressure us all the time.
Right.
All the time.
And so here comes the point that the people whom you hang around with, that makes a lot of difference. So try to align yourself with those whose values match your values, who rather than not putting you down, encourage you to pursue the path what you want to follow.
Right.
Another major crisis what we are facing today is that we in the age group what we are, we used to get inspired by our parents who with their values, their thought process, because everything follows in a hierarchy. What we see, we absorb, what we listen, we absorb. Today the crisis is at home, things are falling apart. Our children, we are very concerned about them, the way things are changing at a fast pace, they are also getting easily engaged into those activities which are not desirable. The race to reach the top without looking into the journey but focusing on the destination, where more money, luxurious lifestyle, more cars, and all these materialistic things are what are determining who you are. Now, tell us how to, our parents who are watching this program today, how to make sure that your alignment with your children is strong so that they cannot be easily influenced by the darker forces.
It's a very good question, Harpreet. You need to be a present parent. Your culture, my culture, came from their countries. They're in survival mode.
Right.
They had to work to put food on the table, so they couldn't be present. But because of what they suffered, they didn't want their children to suffer.
Right.
So what they did was they worked hard, then they would buy them their cars. They would pay for their school. They would buy their clothes. So what we've taught our children, we've enabled that behavior that the parents will always be there and buy it for us. So we haven't taught them any values by doing that. In fact, we've taken away their values. What we need to do is let our children work for what they need to make.
Right.
So they can create their own values, a value of what money is, a value of how much work it takes to buy a car.
Right.
Kids are very impressionable. And if we are always just giving something to somebody, there's no value in that. The lesson needs to be taught before something gets given to our
Right.
children. Being present is key. I'll give you an example. So yesterday morning, it was my wife, myself, and both my children. And, in the morning you have that, the mom and the son, they're arguing about something like every normal family.
Right.
And then, my son's looking at me to support him. My wife's looking at her for me to support her.
Right.
And I'm just, before I would have been emotionally attached to that and I would want to react.
Right.
And I was just quiet. And my other son is looking at me. So it's my wife, Haley, myself, Marco, and Nico. And Nico's looking at me. He's the youngest. And Marco and my wife are engaged in this conversation.
Right.
And they're both looking at me for what am I going to say next. So I did exactly what I said. I said I do is I think about it first,
Right.
let it process, and then I let my heart answer the question.
Right.
So by the end of that conversation, we felt like such a supporting family because we were there in the moment of the greatest challenges in our family. So
Right.
if you show your kids that you're present, if you tell your kids that it's okay to make a mistake, if you make a mistake, come to me.
Right.
Keep that door open. It lets your kids know that you're supportive
Right.
and need to ask for help when you need it. It takes more strength to ask for help when you need it than to say, I don't need it and do it on your own.
Absolutely. So keeping the communication lines open are a key to that kind of good, strong family ties, so that children also feel that they can be heard if, in their case, they need some help.
Yes.
Great. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਉਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਾਬਰਟ ਨੇ ਸ਼ੁਕਰਾਨੇ ਦੇ ਭਾਵ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ, ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਅਖੀਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਵਾਲ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਇੱਕ ਬੜੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਸਿਸ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇੱਕ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸਨ ਇੰਨੇ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਦੂਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਵੈਲ, ਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਗੈਪ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੀ ਹੈ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਹੁਣ ਜਿਸ ਭਾਵ ਨਾਲ ਜੋ ਕੰਮ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਮਾਂ-ਬਾਪ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਐਜ਼ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਆਪਣਾ ਰੋਲ ਨਿਭਾਉਣਾ ਪਏਗਾ, ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰਤੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਪਏਗਾ। ਇੱਕ ਫਰੈਂਡਸ਼ਿਪ ਦਾ ਦੌਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਪਏਗਾ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਅਹਿਸਾਸ ਕਰਨ ਕਿ ਜੇਕਰ ਕੋਈ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਆਈ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਦਿਲ ਖੋਲ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਮਾਂ-ਬਾਪ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਲੈਣ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਸਮਾਂ ਗਏ ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਾਂ-ਬਾਪ ਤੋਂ ਡਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ। ਦੋਸ ਟਾਈਮਸ ਹੈਵ ਗੋਨ ਨਾਓ। The children are not afraid of the parents the like way we used to be of our parents. ਸੋ ਹੁਣ ਬੱਚੇ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਐਸੀ ਕਮਿਊਨੀਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਲਾਈਨ ਹੋਏ ਜਿਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਐਜ਼ ਅ ਫਰੈਂਡ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰ ਸਕਣ, ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਫॉर ਗ੍ਰਾਂਟਡ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਏ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਸਨੂੰ ਉਸਦੀ ਵੈਲਿਊ ਜੇਕਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਪਤਾ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਤਾਂ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਉਹ ਉਸਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੇਅਰ ਨਾ ਕਰੇ ਅਤੇ ਉਸਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਈਜ਼ੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇੱਕ ਲਾਲਸਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਵੱਧ ਜਾਏ। ਸੋ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਮਾਂ-ਬਾਪ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨਾਲ ਚੰਗੀ ਕਮਿਊਨੀਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਲਾਈਨਸ ਸਟੈਬਲਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਜਾਣ। ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਇੱਕ ਚੰਗੇ ਸਮਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਰਜਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਰੋਲ ਨਿਭਾਉਣਾ ਪਏਗਾ, ਜਿਸ ਨਾਲ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਚੰਗਾ ਸਮਾਜ ਆ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ, ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਘਰ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਏਗੀ।